Good evening, everybody. First time making a video in a while, and I figured I'd give you guys just kind of a random, I guess, history of all the haulers in Santa Clarita, kind of what they use and everything. So, of course, you're all familiar with the famous squares arms. Santa Clarita also bought, before or after the squares arms, I'm not entirely sure, but they had Americart, Versacarts. And before all that, they had RRS waste wheelers when they were strictly semi-automated. And then, of course, my grandma's hauler, Atlas Refuse. They had these squares arms. They also bought original styled toters and universal Zarns, both with the plastic bars and where they adapted the mold to take the metal bars. So we'll start Blue Barrel disposal. Now the name Blue Barrel actually comes from way back in the mid-70s when the company actually supplied residents with a 55-gallon drum that was spray painted blue and red and had just wheels welded on it, and they torched a hole in the back for a handle. And you can imagine throwing those in on a hot summer day. It would kind of suck. Santa Clarita disposal, again, I don't know the whole history of the company. I know they were bought up by Blue Barrel disposal somewhere in the about 2000 range, maybe 1999, but they weren't really servicing anywhere near my grandma's or my parents where I lived, so I'm afraid I can't give you too much information on them. And Atlas Refuse, they started, I think they started in 83, something like that. But they were a very long hauling company, and they were bought by Consolidated Disposal. But anyhow, the whole point of this video is I wanted to take a minute to kind of show you guys the history here of, containers and such that were bought. But in case you haven't seen, for those of you who haven't seen, I finally dug it out of storage. I found one of the old barrels. So both Atlas and Blue Barrel were big competitors back in the day. So my grandma's house actually had Blue Barrel disposal before Atlas came in. She used to have a blue RRS cart, and somewhere I actually have a picture. She bought a new car back in like 89, 90, something like that. That's when she bought her Oldsmobile van, and in the background, the whole entire street is just lined with Blue Barrel RRS carts, because that's what they were rolling out at the time. And then Atlas actually booted them out and took over my grandma's neighborhood. So here is one of the famous barrels I'm sure you've heard me talking about. They're really heavy, and you can imagine on a hot day, throwing like 800 of these in a day, 5 days a week would suck. Here's the very crudely torched out handle. You can see it's got nice sharp edges to cut yourself on. That's how they literally just welded a steel pipe to the bottom and some like caster wheels. Welded washers on either side so they wouldn't come out. And of course a couple holes in the bottom so all the liquid would drain out because they didn't supply lids. But yeah, that's what was all over Santa Clarita before my time. It was a very lucky find. It's garbage day in my grandma's neighborhood. There's a bunch of guys driving around picking up scrap. This is in the back of their truck. They didn't want to give it to me, of course, so I had to kind of improvise, gave them a couple of lawnmowers and some other metal, just as kind of a payback kind of thing. And I've had it stored nicely ever since, so it didn't rust anymore or lose the paint. So hopefully I'll be clear coating this soon so it won't rust any further. The bottom's kind of getting rusty. And just have this nice little bit of 80s history forever, hopefully. And thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.